Greetings, Earthling. I have come from the planet Fewest Moves to teach you how to fewest moves. Today, we're going to be talking about how you can insert things more quickly by assuming you're going to cancel a certain amount. Now, this is a technique that is mostly going to help you out if you're relatively new to insertions, or you haven't spent a ton of time practicing them, or maybe it's something that other FMCers don't think of it in this way or something. I don't know. Anyway, I just want to talk about how to speed up your insertions, especially if you're kind of an insertions beginner. So let's talk about it. All right. So here I have a solve. I've explained kind of how I write skeletons before, but you can read it from here. So it's L, U prime, F prime. Skip down to here, D prime on inverse, then all this other stuff, then this. That's not super important though. The point is, after you apply that skeleton on the normal scramble, you get this. I'm using stayers A, B, and X because I already had an X available, I didn't have a C available, and I didn't feel like doing it. So we're going to do cycle A to B to X. So now the first thing, this should be something that a lot of people know, is that when you're going through your skeleton looking for insertions, you can go one move at a time if you assume you're going to cancel a full move, or two moves. You can also cancel two moves by canceling one on the move at the start of the comm and one on the move at the end of the comm, or whatever insertion you're doing. But let's assume we're going to cancel a full move. So going through the skeleton backwards, the first move is D prime, since that was on the inverse. Don't worry about that, I'm just going to do that, don't want to be confusing. The rest of the scrambles, or the rest of the skeleton's on normal, so it should be easy to follow along. So, U prime, inverse of that is U. If I'm going to insert something that cancels a full move here, it's going to start with a U. So I look, and I only check things that start with that U. Rather than looking at these three edges and saying, well, I could cycle them like this, or whatever like that. Instead, I just look, does this U help me to cancel anything? And the answer is no, not really. I can't think of any comm or any other insertion that would start with a U and help me cycle these three edges. Okay, so I do the U. Now the next move is an L prime, which means I should be undoing that with an L. So I do it the same thing again. Is there anything that starts with an L that I could use as a comm or something that would cycle these three edges? Not really. Like maybe you could start an 11 move U perm. Sounds like a bad idea to me, so let's do L. Same thing with U2, nothing again. L prime, okay, now that's a little bit interesting, because at least we're kind of swapping the positions of two of these pieces. Not really helpful though. And this is the general theory you can apply to go through your skeleton very quickly, in case you haven't done this before. Assuming that you're going to cancel a full move, you only have to check every single move, and you don't have to check anything more advanced than that. So this is about the pace I would be going through my insertions. And you can see that every single move I'm able to tell, is this going to do anything for me? And that's the gist of it. Anyway, let me get to the point where I actually did the insertion on this solve, which was right here. Was it here? Yeah, here. So here's where I actually did the insertion, and that insertion was, so we're right here at that one, we're doing L prime, right? That's the move that'll cancel that. And the first thing I notice is that moves A to B. That seems like a good thing for a comm. So then I look, are there moves that'll allow me to then move X into A, like a normal comm? And sure enough, there you go, that does it. And then I happen to notice that that's L prime D, oh look at that, and then we're doing a E2, which involves moving an R2. So I'm guaranteed to cancel at least 6 here, and then I also know that it's going to end with it, because it's L prime D, it's going to end with a D prime, that's going to cancel with the D2, so I know I'm canceling 7 right there. That's a pretty ridiculous and extreme example, but this leads into the next thing. So hopefully you can follow how I found that. A lot of you will already know that. This is where it gets interesting. Up here, I have a bunch of 22 to 3C skeletons. All of these are different, and let me apply one of them now. Now I'm doing a 22 to 3C. Not because I'm expecting it to be better, but because I'm hoping it could be better if I get a really lucky cancel. But here's the thing, in order for that to be better, I need to cancel 6 or more on my 8 move commutator, right? That means I only have to check for 6 moves of cancellation, and that should be really obvious when I'm going through the skeleton. So as I'm doing it, So the first two moves of my checking backwards would be D prime R2. That obviously doesn't do anything, so now I check the next two. R2 something. The R2 doesn't cycle anything, so that's obviously nothing. So then what do we have? I'm looking through the camera lens here, so it's a little bit hard for me to see. Then B prime, and then I come down to this insertion here. But anyway, the point is, you can basically look 3 moves ahead, and if those 3 moves don't all cancel, or at least 2 of them, and then one of them partially cancel, because you could cancel one on the other side, like I was saying. But you basically can look, so I can look here, it's like, okay, so it's B prime, L prime, U prime, or the next 3 moves. B prime, L prime, I already can tell that doesn't do anything, because that's either moving this corner to here and then doing some kind of insert, or it's B prime, L prime, B, which is moving this corner down to here. Nothing involved with the pieces I'm looking at. So the point is, if you are looking for extreme cancellation, which I was on this solve, even though I didn't get it, if you're looking for extreme cancellation, you can check your skeleton way faster than you otherwise could, because you only have to check for the extreme cases. So in this case, I was only checking for places that canceled 6 or more, which I knew would be really obvious, because, like, first of all, when you have a thing that can cancel 6, like say at this point of the skeleton, my next moves were U prime, B prime, U, F, right? That cancels 7. Obviously, that would be very good. Even if I missed, so that would cancel, or 8. So that would cancel 8, starting right here. But if I miss that first move, the second move's still going to reveal that to me, because then the next move would be B prime, U, F, U prime, right? So you actually, the more you're trying to cancel, the more places you have to start the insertion and still find the insertion. So even if you miss it on your first attempt to look for it, you're going to find it on another one. So you can just be really sloppy and like go super fast through your skeleton if you're looking for a lot of cancels. Alright, I realize that this is something that a lot of people already know, but it's just something to think about, especially if you're first starting insertions. This is the sort of thing you can do to speed them up. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on Earth the next time I visit. This has been Blurgledorf Smaluloid signing off.